I'm going to be repeating what Isaac had said. So beginning with the teacher named Harvey, who had said that she was licensed to teach, not to carry. And my response to this of teachers not wanting to carry armed guns is that not all teachers share the exact same view. Actually, some of them are compelled to or feel the need to want to carry a gun. For example, a teacher from the Ohio countryside discussed his reasons for taking a gun training course to be certified to carry a gun, and he claimed that our school is in a rural area. Police officers could take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to get to us, and in a school shooting, it's over and done with by that time. So he felt the need to do something about it, and even though he's licensed to teach, he also wanted to be licensed to carry to protect these students and to protect himself while law enforcement does get out there. And another example is that not only are students at risk, but also school employees are at risk, which would compel them to want to feel the need to protect themselves as well as the students. For example, an FBI report stated that in addition to the many student victims in a middle school shooting, the casualties included school employees, resulting in at least 14 killed, 6 teachers, 5 principals or assistant principals, and 3 other staff members, and another 16 wounded, which were 9 teachers, 5 administrators, and 2 staff members. So as seen, this campus carry, this is not just for students, but rather for teachers, to compel them to want to defend themselves as well, because many schools do not do enough to protect their students or their teachers. In essence, they don't do enough to protect their schools. For example, a recent federal study indicated that the percentage of schools with a security guard, one school resource officer, or other sworn law enforcement officer on campus at least once a week had gone up from 42 to 57. However, while this is really great and all, one security guard or one police is not going to be able to protect everyone and all these hundreds of students that are present during a shooting, which is why the teachers have to come into play to protect their students as well. And in response to the Sandy Hook argument, one of the victims had claimed, a family member who had lost a student in a school shooting stated, "I'm not here to debate, but I lost my sister, and like Mr. President said, if you could find 20% of maybe retired law enforcement officers or a teacher who could get through discreet training to carry a firearm around his waist, it could have been a different story." So not only are the teachers and law enforcement trying to support this, but also the parents who think something could change with this. Also, in response to the training program, who trains them? And if compared to actual law enforcement, the training could be nearly as high. Would it be a qualified program? As Monse had mentioned before, the police department only requires 70% to pass, while teachers training requires a 92%, which is 26 out of 28. So this percentage is actually really high. And compared to law enforcement, these teachers are getting trained much better. Teachers are really well prepared on campus mentally, not just physically. As Isaac had mentioned, he had mentioned something about a student and teacher feeling aggression towards each other because of the gun and causing some type of mental health risk. However, teachers are also trained mentally, not just physically. A teacher who took part in the gun training program, Mr. Sonwald, stated that if we're going to pull the trigger, we want to make sure it's worth everything. It's tough to think about it that it might be a kid that you know that's the attacker, a kid that you see every day. However, we are trained to do what's best for the rest of the students. Therefore, they go through this long process, not just physically to be able to aim the gun, but also mentally.